Hello.
Hey,
Hey.
how are you? Look at that. Wait,
Good.
that is a very impressive background. Are those your plants?
It is, we'll just say that, yeah, we'll say this is the plants I've been taking such careful care of here. Yeah.
No, it's a painting. Is it a paint? What? No, they're
It's
real
like
plants.
what would you call it's not a painting, but what would you
Oh,
call
it's like a tapestry. A
that's
tapestry.
that's exactly what I thought it was. I didn't want to sound wrong. I was gonna say
No,
cloth.
no. But you can't tell like when it's on IG, so there you
Yeah,
go.
exactly. So that I'm in my garden, and that's my friend back there.
Just lounging, just hanging out
Yeah, yeah.
casually.
How's it
Dylan
going?
Minnette, good. Dylan Minnette, welcome to Variety Live. Thanks for hopping
Thank
on
you.
with us.
Thank
Um,
you for having me.
You, how's quarantine treating you, friend?
Oh man, quarantine I mean, it's been long. It's been a long
It's
time now.
long.
It's
Yeah.
sort of, I've obviously grown used to life indoors and going out with masks and, which it's like I grow more used to it, but as time goes on, it still only gets weirder because I'm used to it. Because I feel like if you had like seen a vision of this year, early last year, any other year, that would seem so strange. So it feels the more I go out, it's almost weirder. It almost gets
Yeah.
weirder even though I get more used to it. But luckily though, I mean, I live with my girlfriend. I don't live alone. And I've been very fortunate to have someone with me this whole time. And I know a lot of people don't during this time. And I've been healthy. I've stayed healthy and safe, and I'm super fortunate for that. But yeah, I mean, overall, like uh, it's been good. It's been
Yeah.
it's been fun. Yeah.
But I think it's been, like you said, it's just trying to adapt to this new normal when
Right.
there's really nothing really normal about it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's interesting. How's it been for you?
You know, day by day.
Cool. Cool.
I think that's about as honest of an answer as anyone can give, right? It's like,
Right.
it's really good. And then you go hour by hour. But thankfully, there are lots of things to binge, including
That's
13
true.
Reasons Why.
That what a
Um,
segue.
yeah, I try.
Yeah, this is good.
And I warned everybody who's watching, this is going to be a spoilery chat, obviously. I mean, the show came out earlier this month, but what do you think Clay is doing right now?
What do I think Clay's doing?
Yeah, what's Clay up to right now?
Well, yeah, like you said, spoiler alert. But I think Clay is quarantined with his parents, um, in Evergreen County.
So he did a big
Uh,
U-turn back.
yeah, he was like going to college and then nope, just
Yeah.
stuck at home. Man, that would have been an interesting season five, huh? Just Clay being forced to be stuck
I
inside.
know. You're gonna start
He's
some
like,
fan petitions now.
yeah, he's like, finally, I'm moving on and going to college, and then, yeah, he's just stuck, and then
Don't you
he's,
think that would be like the best thing for any student from Liberty High, though, is to just stay inside for a little bit and
yeah,
like
I guess unless you're Clay, because then he's gonna be living with Ghost Justin, Ghost Bryce, Ghost
this is
Montgomery, Ghost
true.
Hannah,
Okay, maybe this is not a good. Yeah, maybe this is not a
and it's
good
all set in
idea.
one room. It's all set in one room, and damn, actually, we should have done this.
It could be, some shows have their bottle episodes. You could have a whole bottle
Bottle season.
season. Yes,
Look at that.
yes,
All right, I'll
yes.
talk to Netflix and see what's going on.
At the very least, this could be a very successful YouTube series.
Right, right.
Um, but the show, and I mean, I don't think any season of this show can be considered chill in any form of the word.
No.
This season absolutely wasn't, but I do think it kind of ended on like an optimistic note. I don't
Yeah, bittersweet for sure, and optimistic.
know.
Yes. I personally, on my end, I'm proud of the ending. I think that it found the right note to end on, like you said, because it is optimistic, but no one, I mean, I think you don't see Clay fully recover. You see him come to terms with what he's struggling with and be able to
Yeah.
like say it in front of his entire school at graduation and be able to own it and have an optimistic outlook on life, and be able to be that voice of reason for people. But you don't see him recover because you still, I mean, you've always seen him sort of talk to people, that are not alive, and in the end,
Yeah.
he's still speaking to Justin, and I think he's still going to have those struggles, but he has a different outlook. And so I feel, yeah, I do think it was the perfect ending, at least for Clay and for the show in general. I think that the finale, I'm proud that it has a lot of kind of full circle moments from not only early in the show, but the first episode specifically. And I'm all about, things coming full circle and callbacks to things and nostalgia. So I thought it was the right way to go out, especially in the last shot with Clay and Tony, sort of mirror image of the shot of them riding in his Mustang in the first episode of season one, and then
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the ending for sure. But yeah, there's definitely not a chill season. Season four is the least chill, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the one where we see Clay unraveling the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much of a challenge, how interesting was that for you to portray, since he had been kind of the grounding force for so many seasons?
I think it makes perfect sense, and I was hoping that season four would go in the direction of seeing Clay unravel. I wanted to see Clay like hit his lowest of lows in season four. And I remember like speaking to Brian Yorkie, the showrunner, over the course of the first few seasons, saying that I really want Clay to be in therapy in season four because I want to take a deep dive into what is actually going on in Clay's mind, and because we've seen him suffering um, with it's never been named, but we've seen him have these struggles since the beginning of the show, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to face that like head first in season four. So I thought it was only natural and appropriate that you see Clay sort of unravel in season four in order to fully, finally break him down and sort of see what's going on with him. Now, did I think it'd go as far as dissociation and things like that? No, I definitely didn't. But and at first I was sort of, I guess, not thrown off by it, but I was really surprised. But then when I learned more about what dissociation is and how it can actually work for people, it was something that was, a condition that I wasn't fully aware of, and I wasn't aware of, because you don't hear people talk about it as much, I guess. And I was excited that we went that route with Clay because I don't know, it was sort of the unpredictable move, I thought. And um, yeah, and just to see Clay finally say to everyone that he has depression and anxiety and suffers with these um, illnesses. Yeah, I thought it was only appropriate that we went there this season.
Yeah, absolutely. The choice to, I guess not choice, but the big major tragedy of one of the big major tragedies of this season is obviously Justin passing
Yeah.
away. And I think you actually had a hand in shaping that choice or that plot point, right?
Um, I, I don't know if I don't know if, look, I pushed for it, but it's not, I don't want people to hate me for that, but I
Have you
don't know
gotten
if
have you gotten hate? Have you like
I don't know. But I think, yeah, I don't know if I directly had an influence in it. I feel like Brian and the writers are going to make the choice that they were going to make, but
Mhm.
I'm super close with Brandon, who plays Justin, always had been, and we knew that someone was going to pass in season four, obviously, but nobody knew who. And Brandon and I were hoping that it was Justin because I know that him and I were separately making that case to Brian because I think we just felt like if you're gonna do another death in season four in the last season, it has to have the biggest emotional impact possible to make it feel, I guess, not worthwhile, but make it just to leave an impact and a mark on the end of the show and really make and put that stamp on there. And I think that that is the most impactful death for Clay, for
Mhm.
the people who are currently existing in the show. And I just thought that it would be the most powerful choice to make. And I feel like obviously the most polarizing, but I think that's what's kind of great about it. And yeah, I just wanted it to be the most powerful choice. And I think that we were both thankful that uh, they went that route. So, um, and also because in the end of the show, when Clay is seeing Justin still
Mm-hmm.
after his death and speaking to him,
Yeah.
um, and he's reading his college essay about, and it's about Clay, um, and Justin calling him his brother, and that he's his positive influence. That scene particularly broke me the first time I read it, and still breaks me anytime I watch the episode, only because from day one, all Clay ever wanted to be for Hannah in the first place was her positive influence and the person that could help her, and he's always wanted to be a hero, and that's sort of been his downfall in many ways, but also his
Mm-hmm.
greatest strength, and it's what's brought him in all his ups and downs of the show. But he's always just wanted to be the hero and the positive influence for people, and so to hear that from the person that he cares about and loves most in the end of the show, it's all Clay ever wanted to hear from someone. And
Yeah.
so that's also why I feel like it was the best choice, at least for the influence on Clay's character, because I just think that is that will also allow Clay to have a more optimistic outlook on his future, and to sort of not have to deal with more guilt and sadness. And yeah, I think it was the right choice in my opinion. But
Right.
the
Right.
the saddest one for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
But I would expect nothing less from
Yeah,
from this show.
if it's gonna go there in the last episode of 13
Right.
Reasons Why, it's gotta be sad, you know?
It's gonna go there.
Yeah.
There's one episode that felt weirdly, not weirdly, but I guess a little either prescient or resonant, especially right now. And I think that was
Hmm.
the eighth episode with the encounter with the police
Right.
when Liberty High School students. Obviously, in very different contexts, but I think even when you watch this and you break it down, it's so not unlike what we have been seeing lately with the protests
Yeah.
going around in cities. Have you revisited that episode at all?
I don't know if I've revisited it since the protest started, but I mean, it's interesting because that episode, we obviously shot this half a year ago or more,
Yeah.
and at the time, I never, I don't know, I never could have predicted, none of us could have ever predicted the circumstances and the climate in which the time in which the season would be coming out. And I didn't even realize how like resonant with the times that it would be. And it was definitely a commentary on the same themes, on police brutality and racial discrimination, and also the fact that at schools, when you see the stats of the amount of police officers that are in high schools in America versus counselors, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head right now. I've posted about it recently and I have to look, but it's really deeply upsetting, and it's wrong. And especially when these police officers are firsthand being racist and being violent with students, and it's just not a safe environment at all when it's supposed to make the students safe, and it just backfires. And
Which coincidentally is a theme also on the show this season.
exactly, that's why I'm at the time, like, I was glad we were going there, but I'm especially thankful that we went there now, because I feel like if people are watching the show during this time, it can feel relevant and can feel impactful. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm really thankful that it went there. You know, I really am, because yeah, just I don't know where that was going, but yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely hitting a different type of nerve, I think, than maybe you guys had originally intended
Right.
when you shot it.
Yeah.
For you, okay, so we talked about where Clay was. Where is everyone else? Where is Tony? How's Tony quarantining?
That's a good question. Tony's probably punching a punching bag, and
Probably.
you know, man, who are all the characters on the show?
Ani,
Oh yeah,
Jeff.
who knows Ronnie is,
Zach,
and
what's
Jessica.
Zach doing? What's Zach doing? We had Ross Butler in our studio actually not that long,
Oh no way.
feels like a while ago, and he told
Yeah.
us to kind of like strap in. But what's Zach
Yes.
doing?
I hope that Zach's doing better. We saw, I mean, Zach was also at his lowest of lows in season 4 as
Yes.
well. And in
Mm-hmm.
many ways, all of these characters were like, it's sort of, you really knock these characters down more like harder than ever to bring them back up more than ever again. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that Zach is sober, and I hope that he is getting his act together, and I hope that um, Jessica does end up going to one of the colleges of her dreams, and yeah, I don't know. Who knows what they're doing? I don't even know what most of the cast is doing right now. I
Really? You're
haven't.
not on the group chat?
Well, we have a group chat, but I haven't gotten to like see any of them because of quarantine and social
Yeah.
distancing and whatnot. But I know that we wanted to do like a Zoom catch up soon, and I really want to. I just want to see those guys. No, it's we haven't gotten to see each other at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
them all. I love them all. They're all so great.
Uh, what do you think the legacy of this show is going to be?
I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, it's weird. Like I've I don't know. I mean, I think that the show obviously has a lot of has had a lot of attention on it since it's been released, and there's been a lot of different opinions on the show. And I think that there's no opinion on the series that is wrong. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion and the way that they perceive it. And I've never I've never frowned upon any which way anyone wants to look at it. And but I think no matter what though, and what was so surprising about when it was released in season 1 is that it really made an impact and it really started so many conversations. And what I can say about it is that I feel like when people who were around when it was released to sort of, I don't know, to be aware enough of its existence and like, and to pay enough attention to it though, well, I feel like since it did have that impact, people will always remember like where they were at the time when it came out, because I really do think that it sort of, I don't know. It's just I don't know if I've been a part of anything where I'm like, oh, I think that people will remember this when they're older, and then they'll talk about, oh yeah, I remember when that came out, and I remember everyone was talking about it. But I believe that that will be the case for this show, only because of all the conversations that it started, and I'm pretty thankful for that. I'm happy to be a part of something that left its mark in culture and pop culture, and yeah, we'll see though. I mean, I don't know. It's tough to tell. It's tough to tell like what a legacy of the show would be.
Yeah.
But maybe no one will be talking about it. I really don't. I don't know. But
Let's circle back in like 10 years. 5 years.
Yes, we'll be
I
on
feel like
Instagram
everything's moving
Live
very yes.
in 10 years. We're on the like 85th wave of COVID and quarantine.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, it's so depressing.
I know.
So my last questions to you are, what are you streaming? And
Oh,
what are you looking forward to the most after all of this is over?
oh man.
In 10 years or
In
5
10
years or
years, yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever. So
Um,
first, what are you streaming right now?
oh, so actually, we have watched a lot during like we've always wanted to watch like a bunch of different shows together. We're normally my girlfriend and I, but we're normally um very busy. Like we're both either touring or whatever. So we've taken advantage of this time. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Started off, I showed Lydia Mr. Robot, which is kind of like my
Oh,
favorite show ever. I mean, honestly, I do believe it's my favorite
so good.
TV series of all time, and
We
so
had
that
BD
was so much
Wong
fun.
as one of our first IG
Oh, I
lives.
love
Talk
BD. We were on a show
White
together
Rose.
when
Oh,
I was what was I like 14, 15 on a show called
oh my
Awake that was
gosh.
on one season on NBC.
Yes,
And
I remember
yeah,
this.
yeah, and I love BD, and then so when he was on um Mr. Robot, I was sort of I was like starstruck of my like younger self working with BD. So but yeah, no, amazing performance on that show. But yeah, I
Yeah.
love that show. And then she showed me Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We watched that whole thing, which is now also in my top 5 shows I've ever seen in my life. Um, and I still am caught up pretty much. I'm not fully caught up, but on The Walking Dead. Like I'm 10 seasons deep on that show. Like I've watched
Wow.
it for probably 7 years now, and I'm not letting go because I love it and I gotta see it all the way through because I've been so committed to it. So after Buffy, I made us watch The Walking Dead,
Nice.
and I'm happy because she loves it now, and we're having so much fun watching it. We're gonna finish season 9, so that's what we're currently watching is
Wow.
nearing the end of The Walking Dead. Um, and then after that, I don't know. There's so many shows I want to watch. There's so many, and
There's a lot of good stuff out there.
I'm trying to take advantage of that during this time. I've wanted to continue watching Better Call Saul, and I can't wait. I want to finish the Watchmen season. Like I definitely want to see all these shows. Um, but yeah,
It's a
there's that.
solid list. It's a
It's a
solid
solid.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
And what are you looking forward to the most after all of this is done?
I think what I'm looking forward to the most and all this stuff. I mean, I am like I'm th there's been I'm thankful for this time. I mean, it's funny when I'm normally like touring with my band Wallows or whatever. I'm normally just like wanting time off. Like I'm always wanting to like be home because I really am kind of a homebody, and I feel like and then so I am definitely not taking this time for granted, but I also I try to be as productive as possible, and been making a lot of music with Wallows that um, I'm super proud of, and otherwise wouldn't even be
Are you guys doing
making.
through Zoom through or through
Yeah,
IG
like
Live?
same. Yeah, like it's all been remotely, but
Yeah.
we I don't know. Like I've tried to make the most use out of this time as possible. So it, I'm sort of just accepting what's happening and just trying to do the best I can and be as productive as possible and enjoy it. So
Hmm.
it's hard to think of like what I'm looking forward to. But I think an easy answer though is since I brought up Wallows is eventually being able to play shows again and tour and because that
Yeah.
I think it'll feel more sort of invigorating, exciting than ever because there's been such a long break now. Whereas that's all I was going to be doing this year in the first place. So whenever that happens again on the when we're all like 50 and touring next, that will be, I'm sure, really, really fun. But I'm looking forward to that, getting back out and seeing more of the world because I was going to be going to a lot of places this year that I hadn't
Mm,
been to yet. I was going to be going to South America and
wow.
Australia and all these places that I haven't gotten to see, and so to be able to finally go see those places because I was looking forward to it will be super rewarding and really fun.
Yeah.
And touring is quite the opposite of what is happening, so that it'll just be a change of pace, which will be great. Yeah.
Well, the
Um,
nice thing is that all those places will still be there,
yes,
hopefully, after.
yeah, I know. So I just watched I just
So,
watched this big piece of like this unfolded box fall on top of my cat, and she freaked out. She's
oh
okay. But
no.
that was I got really distracted for a moment. She's so spooked right now.
Oh
Anyway, that was
no.
that's crazy.
Hazards of IG Live. Well,
Yeah,
Dylan, this was
yeah.
so nice to talk to you and
So
catch
nice to
up.
talk to you too. Yeah,
And
thanks.
the bottle season, season
Yeah,
5. There's
yeah.
I really believe very strongly in it.
I know.
I think even if you had to do it over Zoom, even because I'm sure Clay would
Yeah.
manifest
Oh my God. Can you imagine
those
like the
conversations.
the 13 Reasons Why reunion special? Like it's sort of like the Tiger King thing where they're on Zoom, but only it's 13
Oh my
Reasons Why.
gosh. I don't know, man. I
I
don't
don't think
know.
people
I
would be
feel
down.
only if you get Joel McHale to host it. So
Yeah, that'd be really weird and great. I would really like that.
I'm all about the weird and great. Dylan, this was
Yes.
so nice. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for hopping on Variety Life.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.